Hey, Lit Set, it's Jasmine.
Hey, Lit Set, it's Nikea, and this is Black Girl Lit,
The podcast. We're a podcast now, guys.
where Black girls are lit
We get lit.
and we read lit.
This is Black Girl Lit, the podcast. First of all, I just want to put out there to the people that I had to read this book in like a day because, first of all, let me tell y'all something. So first of all, I put a tag in for this book on Libby, and it took a while for me to get the book because everybody was trying to get the book, so it was on hold for a while, right? And so I checked it out for 21 days, but then I loathed. I didn't read it. Like I didn't really get reading on it until like late in the game or whatever. So when I did start reading it, Nakia hit me with the, "Oh, I'm already finished with the book." So I was like, okay, no, backtrack. That's a lie. So when I was reading it, I only had 2 days left before I needed to return the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't return, like, I couldn't renew the book because there was somebody waiting for it. So I texted Nike and I was like, "Hey, I am going to have to power read because I need to return this book." So Nakia, even though I said I, meaning Jasmine, was going to have to power read, took it upon herself to finish the book. So I was like, Well, she was like, "Well, you told me that you needed to power read." I said, "I did, girl. That didn't apply to you. You could have taken your 10." But then come to find out, I was able to renew the book. Then next thing I know, I had to read the book in like a day. I didn't have to. I just chose to. And none of the story actually makes any sense now that I'm actually verbalizing it.
Oh God, Lit Set, we are back with episode 3 of season 3 of the podcast. I don't know what other way to start because we got cabin fever.
I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know that we had started.
All right. Hey, we started. That's it. That's the intro. There you go.
Oh, hey, there it is. Welcome. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Y'all doing all right? It's just time for a little check-in.
Y'all all right out there?
Right.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? Well, I am playing with my recently installed braids by who? Myself. You know what I'm saying? Jasmine had to go to the beauty salon and she did her own braids. Okay, this is my first time doing my own braids or anything outside of just pressing curls because that's all I know how to do with my hair is a simple pressing curl. Don't ask me to do anything extra. I decided to do something extra because I watched one YouTube video and I was like, I can totally do that. Then I watched 2 YouTube videos and I was like, oh, yeah, I can really do that. So I tried that. It worked out. Is it good? No. Does it look like I paid the normal $300 for it? No, it does not. It looks like I paid maybe $50 for it. But it's a start. And I'm going to keep going. And
did you do the knotless braids?
Yes, I did knotless.
Oh, you better than me, sis, because I cannot do knotless on myself. My brain shuts down.
Knotless was easy. It was easy for me to understand. Watching Mrs. Vaughn video was easy. I couldn't do the double hook with the knot. It was, girl, you don't know how many pieces of hair I destroyed trying to do that. It was like, no, can't do that. But the knotless I was able to get. Now I just gotta figure out how to get close to the root and then work on my parts. But baby steps. But what you doing, girl? How you doing?
Sis is not okay. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I'm just not okay. Like, I hit somebody up, one of my Facebook friends, Jovan, and I was like, do you know anybody that does online therapy? Because this quarantine, social distancing, and other stuff that's going on in my family is just not good for my mental health. Like, I have insomnia, and I stay up like having like these negative thoughts, and I like anxiety is kicking in, and I haven't done any work. Like, I'm still employed, but I haven't really done anything. So I'm like, and I get anxiety every time I think about work or whatever. So I was like, let me find somebody to talk to because this is just not good for me. And I told EJ too, because like, I think I mentioned before in the podcast, I had an uncle who passed away during this time. My grandmother's been in the hospital. She's still not doing any better. And we found out some news about her. So that almost took me out. Because I keep telling everybody, my grandma, my mom's mom, like, that's my grandma. Like, she helped raise me. So when she goes, y'all gonna have to give me some Valium, something. I'm gonna have to be sedated and be a zombie to walk around. So it's just a lot going on. And I just want to be honest, I'm not okay, but I'm seeking resources to help be okay. And I'm still trying to push through. And I think I made a post on Instagram. Like, the one thing that keeps me going, keeps me up and doing stuff every day is my daughter, Harper, because I don't want her to see me like laying in bed and just not doing anything. So I make sure she eats, and, you know, we're re-potty training. Yeah. So she won't let me sit down, and here she comes right now.
Oh.
But yeah, Sis is not okay, but I'm doing stuff to mitigate that. Sorry.
Well, no, that's good. Well, one, it's good that you realize that you're not okay and that you're not just like suppressing it, because there's people here who are not okay but think they're okay and don't address it. So one, that you addressing it is good.
Harper wants to say hi. Say hi to the people in the podcast.
Hi.
Say hey, Litset.
Hey, Litset.
It's Harper.
It's Harper.
All right, say bye, Litset.
Bye-bye, Litset.
All right, go watch your trolls.
No, it's okay. We got to get started to this episode. But no, no, it's good that you're acknowledging it and that you're seeking resources. But I will say, though, I know that you want to be strong for Harper and be there for her, but it is totally okay for you to not feel like getting out of bed some days. It's totally okay for you. So seriously, if this is a day where you wake up, you're like, you know what? I don't want to move. It's okay. That's when you let EJ know, like, hey, I'm going to have to take this day. And that's where you guys work together in your partnership. But it's completely okay for you to do that. And speaking for therapists, I know, well, at least currently my therapist right now is doing teleservices. So I don't know if she continues that post COVID, but I can give you her information and you can ask her. I like her. She a nice Black lady. So I could definitely share that with you.
Yeah, that's my one thing. I was trying to find a Black person. Like, I'll even pay out of pocket. Just talk to somebody every other week or something. Like, help me get inside my head. Like, what's going on with me? Yeah. But I'm still reading.
Hey, you still got to find some joy and some other things. But yeah, we'll get you right, sis. Don't worry. We will get you right.
Appreciate it, dog. Just had a little incident with a bee, but we're good. It's all good on my end.
And when we say bee, we don't mean Beyonce. We mean a literal bee.
Not a bumblebee, but a bee.
A bee.
Yeah.
When I rumble with the bee, huh?
Right.
So Hex and the whole family dressed in all black like the Omen.
Yes, so it's definitely still alive, but it's right where I want it to be. Okay. This week's book, as Jazz begins to spit her hot fire, we read Intercepted by Alexa Martin. This was Jasmine's pick, so we're back to our fiction, something a little more lighthearted after we read Thick. That was thick. But anywho, we're going to get into our first segment of the show where we discuss the author. Alexa Martin is a writer and stay-at-home mom. She lives in Colorado with her husband, a former NFL player who now coaches at the high school where they met, their 4 children, and a German Shepherd. When she's not telling her kids to put their shoes on again, you can find her catching up with her latest book boyfriend or on Pinterest pinning meals she'll probably never make. Her first book, Intercepted, was inspired by the 8 years she spent as an NFL wife. But that is all I could find about her. Like, her bio is the same everywhere.
Oh.
So in her picture, she looks like she's 12 years old.
She kind of looks like Royce from Basketball Wives. When I first saw her picture, she gave me Royce from Basketball Wives vibes.
Yes. I do see that.
Like, because she looks like she's really petite. Mm-hmm. And they have like a very similar like facial features and like skin complexion.
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah, but that's all about her. Nothing juicy. I was trying to find out like what team her husband played for. I didn't feel like being a detective gadget. I should have sent Jazz on that mention because she would have found out. I knew that he was number 22.
All right, let me see what we can find. So her husband was Derek Martin.
Look at Jazz. That was so fast. Just EJ, if you're listening, if you ever cheat on me, just know Jazz will be on it.
They're from Westminster, Colorado. He's 5'10", 215 pounds, according to his Wikipedia page. And he used to play for the Ravens, the Packers, the Giants, the Patriots, and the Bears. One year that the Packers won a Super Bowl, he was there. And then the year that the Giants won a Super Bowl, he was there. So he's a 2-time Super Bowl winner.
Jazz with the T. All right. But, it's not about him. It's about sis Alexa. Right?
Alexa, who wrote this book, Intercepted.
Yeah. It's actually the first one in her series. The series is called The Playbook.
I didn't know it was a series when I picked it.
We know, Jazz. We know. I think This is playbook number 1.
Mhm.
Let's see. She has a book coming out on October 20th, 2020, which will be the 4th book in the series. But her second book came out last year. It's called Fumbled. The 3rd book also came out last year called Blitzed. And then the new book, like I said, is coming out this year and it's called Snapped. So keeping with those football terms, but the main characters in each book are different. So she's writing these with the same vibes as Jasmine Guillory. Like they kind of go together. And so it's about characters from previous books, but I honestly feel like you don't need to read them in order to get what's going on.
Yeah. I like those kind of series sometimes because
Yeah.
I accidentally stumble into them. Like, oh, I didn't realize this was part of a series. Let me go back and read these other books.
But it's crazy. Every time you pick a series book, you pick the first one. All right, now that's enough about Alexa. Now we're going to get to the segment where Jasmine flourishes and thrives, which is the book synopsis.
Yes, come along with me while I synopsisize Intercepted by Alexa Martin. Okay, so Intercepted is a story of Marley Harper, who is a longtime NFL girlfriend of a wide receiver named Chris. They live in this nice mansion in Colorado. They've been together since high school sweethearts. And then, shit get a little hinky in their relationship and it doesn't go as expected. And so when this situation happens, there's another player on the team named Gavin Pope, who is the quarterback. He just got traded onto the Mustangs, the Denver Mustangs, just got traded onto the team. And so the book becomes how Marley deals with her relationship with Chris, as well as her interactions with Gavin, who she may or may not have a past with. You got to read the book to find out or not. And just going through all of that, as well as dealing with some other situations about her life and just finding herself. So Intercepted is just Marley trying to figure out, one, where she wants to be in a relationship standpoint, as also where she wants to be in her own personal life. And that is the synopsis of Intercepted.
On to our initial reaction, how we felt about the book, just our initial guttural feelings. And since this is Jasmine's pick, we're going to let her go first this week.
Ooh, okay. I just want to say this mimosa is hitting. Okay.
I wonder why you're drinking so fast.
Mimosas. Okay. So first thought, Marley reminds me of Girl Melanie or Med School from the game. So if you're not familiar with the game, Girl Melanie Med School is Tia Morrow's character on the game. She was with Derwin, whatever. And the reason why, because the book starts off with Marley being at a Lady Mustangs meeting. And if you know the series, the game, you know how Girl Melanie felt about the Sunbeams and their little girl wives club. And Marley's feelings were very similar to that. And then also I put that Alexa tends to present her characters without initially describing what they look like, which was interesting and kind of caused me to question what the characters actually look like. So I don't think we realized or found out that Marley was biracial until maybe like a couple of chapters into the story. And then also, I still don't think I really know what Chris looks like. And I only have like a little bit of a description of what Gavin looks like. So for the most part, she doesn't give you any actual like written descriptions of characters. So it kind of makes it a little hard to picture them in your mind. And then I also have is Gavin Bae because he seems like Bae. I put Courtney is annoying AF. I put Chris is a gaslight because the way he was handling their situation and he was gaslighting her. I put that, so Marley likes to hashtag her life. At first it was annoying. But then I kind of grew to like understand and like them. And then I really wanted Marley to start defending herself because she found herself in a lot of situations where other people were standing up for her and she wasn't. Like people would be having conversations about her while she's standing there and she wouldn't say something. Someone else would speak up and defend her. I'm like, sis, if you don't say something or throw these hands, like I need you to do something. And then also on the conversely, there were some situations where, and I don't think it was intentional, but it came off that Gavin had like a white savior complex and it was pissing me off. Like I need Gavin to back up and chill because like I appreciate you coming to her defense and her rescue, but I don't need you to be this big hulking white man trying to save everybody. Like it was just it was just a lot. But yeah, that was my reactions.
Yeah. I've mentioned that. I think I mentioned that in my major scenes and topics, so I'll save that. All right, so my initial reactions were this was a quick and easy read, but maybe because of coming up off of Thick, which was a little heavy. Like, this was just really light. I kind of felt like I was reading a tabloid magazine. No shade, but just kind of that vibe. And as Jazz mentioned, it did remind me of the game. I had to ask my husband, I was like, what was the name of the team in the game? Because I was like, it sounds familiar. Majority of the characters, to me, they read as black. Because, I see a character on the front cover, she's black, presenting, the author is black or mixed or whatever. So I was like, okay, most of the characters read as black. Even Gavin. Like, at one point I was reading, I had to actually Google search the books. I had typed it, is Gavin black? Because I was like, did she describe him? Like, I couldn't even remember. It was stressing me out.
She described him once as having olive skin and blue eyes. That's all she said. I don't even know if she ever said what his hair color looks like. So she was real lacking on descriptions of people, which I think it could have been intentional.
Yeah. And then I felt like the lifestyle of the characters was not relatable to me because like these rich, famous people, and I couldn't really see myself in like their situations. The one thing I could relate to was staying with someone after they cheated on you, because I've been there before. And I wish that some of the plot points were developed more. Some things seemed to be randomly thrown in just to push the plot forward, and it didn't really like connect and wasn't cohesive. And then y'all know I hate this. Everything ended too perfectly, tied up in a bow. I was like, damn, like everything just ended up like, really? 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 Like everything. So our next segment is major scenes and topics.
All right, so I didn't write down any major scenes or topics. So when I told you I was prepared, I was not. But
they lying to me, man.
I thought I did. Okay, so I do have some major scenes and topics. They're gonna come off the dome piece. So first major scene is the whole situation between Marley and Chris. I'm talking about the discovery, the detective work that was put in, and and then Gavin coming to be Captain Save-A-Ho. That's the first one. Second major event was the fashion show. Third major event was the park attack. And then another major event was the restaurant showdown between Marley and
Courtney.
Madison? No.
Oh yeah, Courtney and Madison. Well, mostly Madison.
Mostly Madison. And then also the end, being tied up with the bow. In terms of topics, though, the only topic that I had was interracial prejudice, because there was some underlying prejudice towards Marley for her possible maybe situation with Gavin, her hanging out with Gavin. There was some shots thrown there, not verbally vocalized, but that was out there. And then also I think the white savior complex that I mentioned in my reactions. So those are my topics and scenes. What do you have, sis?
Yeah, so Jazz mentioned all my major scenes. I guess the only major scene that I have that she didn't mention was when Marley went to New York to visit Gavin's family.
Oh, yeah.
This was a non-topic. Like, race and interracial relationship was not a major topic at all. And I wrote, I know it's not the center of everything or the reason for everything, but it matters and it is important, and it is barely mentioned. And then a major topic for me, like I mentioned before, is great white savior. Gavin is always there to save Marley. When she breaks up with Chris, when she gets assaulted in the park and harassed on the train, with Madison taking her phone and talking to Chris. That one I actually liked. But then she does ask him to like kind of pull back and like chill out and tell him that she doesn't need him to fight all her battles. But he continues to do it anyway. Gavin read as black to me. But he's actually white. But he, like Jazz said, he was really Captain Save-A-Ho, and he felt like he had a right to save her, like he had to do it, and like he was doing some great justice for her. And in all actuality, he was actually disabling Marley, taking away her agency, taking away her freedom to like do what she needed to do, to speak up for herself, to stand up for herself. And there was a quote, Marley said, this is what she told him, I know you don't need me. oh, this is what Gavin said. I know you don't need me to fight all your battles for you. And that's where she had the conversation, was like, you know, I can do some stuff myself. I don't need you to always stand up for me. And I said, thank you. So stop being the great white savior. Like, stop. Like, why did this white guy need to come in and save her? You know, she was with this black man before. And then it's like they break up and Gavin just so happens to be there. Like, really? And then in the park, she just so happens to walk by his house, even though she hasn't been by his house in 2 weeks. On that night, she just so happens to walk by his house and knock on his door, and he's home. Like, these football players have a lot of free time.
They do.
Are they really athletes? I don't know. I'm just like, you're just always there. And even at the end where she goes to a football game and she's on the train, and then she's like, oh, these guys are harassing me. Can you come meet me at this station? And then even though she's running away from them, I'm like, girl, they about to get your butt. And then boom, Gavin pops up. I'm like, how? I like the book and I like Gavin. I just don't like the way Alexa wrote him as just like this great white savior. Why did this guy have to save her? Because if you think about it, everything good that happens to her is some way tied to Gavin. Which,
yeah. I don't know. I think what I also took issue with, it wasn't even like, so some of the situations, like her going to him after her attack, I could kind of maybe understand that, because I know if I was in a situation where I had been attacked, the first person I'm gonna run to is David. So I can completely understand that. My issue was that there were situations in time where she just didn't speak up for herself at all. Like when they were at the fashion show and Chris and Gavin are literally on either side of her arguing across her about her, and she just cracks jokes. Like, she's not speaking up. She's not saying nothing. Chris is calling her outside of her name so many times. And yeah, it's cool that Gavin was defending her, but she needed to be defending herself. She needed to be speaking up for herself and not just taking a backseat to her life. And then also, I just felt like the situation and the time when like she got attacked and then the police officer came and he was cracking jokes because they knew each other, which again, you need to speak up for yourself. That is not the place. You can't get mad at Gavin for speaking up when you have not taken any opportunity to speak up for yourself at all.
Marley is a trash main character.
Yeah, she is. I mean, she's not trash. She just, I don't know. There were just so many times I just needed her, because she was quick to pop off on Courtney and she was quick to pop off on some other people, but she just, I don't know. I just need her to pop off more. Just pop off more.
There's a quote at the end of the book where Marley says, Gavin doesn't make my world, but I'll be damned if he doesn't enhance it. Sis, he makes your world. Like, every move you make was controlled by his actions, like something to do with him. I'm sorry, spoiler. The best part of the book is when Gavin and Marley broke up and she was by herself and she realized that she couldn't be with him. I was like, yes, like, you just need to be by yourself. Like, you've been in a relationship since high school. And then as soon as you break up with your high school boyfriend, you get into another relationship. So I'm like, you don't even know yourself. So she didn't even have enough time to get to know herself, understand who she is, in order to be able to speak up for herself in those times when she needs to, like, say, hey, don't say this about me, or that's not okay. So I feel like that's why Gavin, had to swoop in and be the great white savior.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that Chris was trash. Chris was all the way trash.
Chris
I
didn't think so at first. Yeah, when they said they had the laptops, I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Oh yeah, when she said that she accidentally took his laptop, I was like, oh, I knew this was about to go. I already know where this is going, ma'am.
And it was his email just happened to be up. On a positive note, major scenes. There are some good sex scenes in here. These sex scenes are like very realistic. I feel like a lot of times in movies and books, they portray sex to be like super sexy and sensual. Sex is sloppy, messy. It's not just
clumsy. It's very clumsy.
It's clumsy. I bumped my head, my elbow.
Off the bed.
Right, shit happened. But these, not to say that happened in the way this was written, but the way she wrote it just seemed realistic. I could be like, I've experienced this before. Yeah. And I do appreciate that one scene where Gavin gave Marley head and didn't get anything in return.
That was good.
Take note, man. Take note.
Take note. Get on your cunnalings. Get on that cunnilingus. But yeah, so I mean, I do appreciate the realistic sex scenes. Also, the Great White Savior was raw. Well, he wasn't like Gavin as a person's not trash.
Just the
His
trope.
going, yes, his going about being this great white savior was trash. Also, his lack of communication skills. Because, bruh, how you decide that as a surprise you gonna swell or move to New York for us? Oh, I've been telling you for weeks I'm gonna accept this deal here in Colorado, but come to find out you'd accepted a a couple years deal in New York, and I'm just supposed to be like, oh my god, yes, we're going to New York. What?
Like, Jazz, what would you do if David was like, hey, I'm about to move, but I already talked to your boss and I talked to your parents, so it's good. I got you a job and they're gonna give you some recommendations and we're gonna move to Georgia. Like, what?
Like, what? I mean,
No.
what? No.
Yeah.
I
Why are
mean,
we not having conversations?
I'm probably gonna go, but
I'm not gonna do it. I was just thinking about it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't know. That would just, even if my husband was just like, hey, like, no, there needs to be some discussion had.
Right. And I think honestly, it wasn't the fact. Okay, I can understand if they had talked about it and she was like, you know what, I'm okay with either option. I'm okay with Colorado or going to New York. But the fact that you told this woman, oh, we gonna stay here, we gonna do this here, we gonna stay at Colorado here. I was like, okay. But then I had a feeling that it was going to happen because when she went to his house and she was like, I like New York. I can see myself living here. I was like, and you told him this. Sis, what did you expect?
Give the man an idea. If you give men an idea, it's like planting a seed. Okay? They're going to take it and run with it.
They're going to take it and run with it.
Yeah. And then one last major scene was her first trip to New York. And she meets Gavin's sister. I was like, girl, if you don't cut this trick or slap her, like she just let people walk all over her. But then that got wrapped up in a bow too. I'm over.
I was mad. I was real mad. Like,
no words. No words. Go ahead.
It was just. I mean, and the one time I thought maybe, I don't know. It just everything did get wrapped up in a bow. I mean, I was happy that they were able to get their relationship. I mein, in terms of Gavin and Marley, I was happy whatever that they had going on, whatever, because I like romantic novels. I like when that stuff happens. But I wanted some more trials and tribulations to occur. Now, I'm happy that the trials and tribulations were not based on race. I think I see what Alexa was trying to do there in the sense of not really bringing it up too much and just trying to do that whole love is blind kind of thing and not having to deal with it. And then also, I guess maybe she feels that Colorado is a real progressive state and the real hipster moving forward kind of thing. So they may not care about those things there. But still, those are still some major things that need to be addressed. And then maybe it doesn't, and maybe for her, it doesn't matter because Marley's character was biracial. She had a white mom, black dad. So that may be something that she just already is used to. That's her normal. So maybe that's why it wasn't really addressed. But I am happy that their relationship issues were not based on their race and that wasn't too much of a thing because that just would have been typical, I think. I hate to say that, but I feel like that's low hanging fruit relationship issues that authors could use. And I'm happy that she didn't, go for it. But on the flip side, I feel like I just wanted the relationship to have a little bit more problem or issue. I feel like it was a little too perfect. Even when they did have an issue, it's still rich people problems. Are we going to live in Colorado or are we going to live in New York? Like, it's still rich people problems.
I do appreciate that Marley wasn't like so wrapped up in the glitz and glam of the NFL. Like, yo, she drove a Prius.
Honey Blossom.
Right. She'd been with this dude for 10 years and he had this decked out mansion and she drove a Prius. Like, she wasn't all, like starstruck and just nostrils, nose wide open or whatever. Like, she was able to like stay grounded. So I do appreciate that about her.
I do as well. But I think she should have realized sooner that life wasn't for her. At least the life of Chris.
She knew.
She was in love.
See, I've been there before, but then you get comfortable. Like,
you do get comfortable.
You're here and you're like, why should anything change? Until that one thing, it just breaks that one straw that breaks the camel's back. So I understand. I understand why she stayed. I can't be mad at it.
Like I said, I've been there, hated it, but I still bought a shirt. So
Right.
see, I've been there. My reaction is a little bit more pettier than that, but we won't discuss my dark days because I'm in a better place and I'm with the new man now.
On to our next segment, which is Sips, where we invite you all to send in feedback, questions, comments, concerns about books and topics that we have previously discussed or that we are currently discussing. So you can send us a DM, a written up message, or a voice note on Instagram at blackgirllit_ or an email at blackgirllityt@gmail.com. I do have a little sippy sip for y'all today. So it's not from the audience, but just tea about this book and the series. So there's a series in development with Stars and G Unit Films and Television by 50 Cent and Lala Anthony as it pertains to this book and the series. So this book and the playbook series could be turned into a television series for Stars.
Okay, sis. Okay, Alexa. Getting them TV credits and them TV rights and stuff, getting that money, getting that Trump check. Okay, girl.
What you don't understand is while you were running your mouth with him, I was running to the bank, sweetie, and depositing a Trump check. Honey, Donald Trump.
Yeah, out of here.
I'm sorry. The Trump check, that was more so a reference to Nene Leakes for when she was on Real Housewives after she did The Apprentice. She said, I'm getting a Trump check. This is when she was trying to tell somebody that she was
a whole different meaning now.
Sorry. Should have put that more context beforehand. But no, that's awesome. I would like to watch. I would watch this as a show.
Yeah, especially on Stars, because I feel like it'll be more raunchy and less campy than the game was. Yeah, we can get a little more in depth. Now, on to your favorite segment, which you all have been waiting about 30 minutes to hear. We're going to rate that book, y'all. Our scale starts off with sober, which means that book was whack, 1 flame emoji. Then we have buzzed, 2 flame emojis, which we're feeling it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Getting a little tingle. Then we have tipsy. All right, that's 3 flame emojis. We really like this book. It's getting us where we need to be, but we could possibly maybe drive home, but shouldn't. Then our last rating is lit. Okay, that is 4 flame emojis for your life, sis. We like this book. We need to call a Uber, and we might have to pay that $200 fine because we threw up in the bag.
Oh man! Luckily, I have never done that.
Yeah, me either. I know somebody who has. I won't say their name.
I know some people too.
You know somebody. The same somebody. So Jess, this is since. Wow, am I tipsy?
Sis.
Jazz, sis, since this is your book, what is your rating?
Okay, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. First of all, I just want to say that I don't know why I have various accents while recording on this show. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what it is, but okay. So, my rating for Intercepted by Alexa Martin is, drumroll, I gave it a tipsy. Gave it a tipsy. I felt like it could have been a lit. It was lacking in some areas. Like Nakia said, it was tied up with a bow at the end. The situations, some of the things that Marley went through, from the attack in the park to the almost attack on the subway, a lot of the book was already kind of unrealistic in the sense of I've never been in the position of being an NFL star's wife, so I don't know anything about that stuff anyway. So that was already pie in the sky for me. But then adding on these other situations that I just felt like didn't really tie into the story in any really way, like didn't really do anything but further show Gavin as the Great White Hope. It just, I didn't, it put it in the tipsy area for me. So this book is a tipsy. I did enjoy reading it. Like I said, I read the majority of it in like a day. Didn't have a problem with it. I liked it. It was fun. It was lighthearted, but it was lacking in some areas to make it a lit book. So that's my rating.
My rating for this book. I struggled a little bit, but I'm gonna give it what I gave it. I gave it a buzz 0.5. A buzz. Because mostly it was a good general storyline, but some of those, like Jazz mentioned, some of those plot points that were just kind of thrown in there just didn't really connect for me. Like, it was a quick and easy read. I don't hate it. It wasn't trash, but it's like, it was okay. It was okay, but
Nothing to write home about.
Right, I might read the other ones just for shits and giggles, but yeah. Other than that, yeah. So a buzz 0.5, but I'll just go with a buzz. It was buzzed. It was buzzed.
That's fine.
Yeah, a little tingle. That's it.
Yeah, this is a nice little sip.
Yeah, that's our rating, y'all. We need some better books this season for us because our ratings have been low. No lit books yet.
Right. You know what? We should have read goddamn Evelyn Hugo together, and then that would have been a lit book.
That is our rating for this book. So coming up, y'all, we have Well-Read Black Girl, Finding Our Stories, Discovering Ourselves. This is another nonfiction book. It's by Gloria Edem, which go ahead, Jazz. Go ahead.
It's another collection of essays.
But this is different. It's personal essays. It's not really like academic. That's my pick. And now we have an unconventional Black Girl Lit pick from Miss Jasmine Lenny Nora. We have Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. So it's a person of color, but it's a man.
Curveball at you. Curveball at you. Yeah.
So last season, I chose our first book by a white woman, and Jazz this season chose our first book.
Yeah.
So we're gonna read those next two books, and those will be coming out in May. And maybe with Crazy Rich Asians, we could talk about the movie a little bit because I think both of us have seen it. So
yes, if not, we should watch it before we record a bonus segment within there where we talk about the book and the movie.
All right, Jazz, do you have any final words today?
I just want to say to my folks out in Georgia, stay your ass in the house. I know what your governor told y'all that y'all can come out the house. Just stay your ass in the house, okay? Get your black ass back in the
goddamn motherfucking ass back in this house, bitch.
What she said, okay? Because that COVID-19 out there still tripping. Don't come in. Don't go outside. Stay in the house. And also, don't ingest no Lysol. I don't care what your president talking about either. Don't go ahead and inject yourself with Lysol.
If you voted for Trump and that's what you want to do, it's your body, like. You know
oh yeah, or if you were planning to vote for Trump again in 2020 and you want to ingest some Lysol, by all means,
shoot it up. I don't have any final words. That's it. Thank y'all for listening. As always, stay Black Girl Lit.
Stay Black Girl Lit in them streets, okay? Cause we're Black Girl Lit. Yeah, we're lit. Yeah, we're Black Girl Lit. We're lit. I'm working on a theme song.
That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating and a top-notch review. And be sure to follow us and listen on SoundCloud.